Hello, everybody. This is Robert Landau, Live Life Well TV host, with another episode of Health and Wellness Tips. And our guest, once again, I am very happy to welcome back Gwen Wilburn, who happens to be the Senior Vice President of Clinical Operations for RCM. Welcome back, Gwen.
Hi, Robert. Thank you.
I love the topics that we have been talking about in this series because each one is incredibly important during this time. And they all kind of connect to one another. But here's the important topic that we'll discuss today, and it has to do with hydration. So let's start off with this. Why is it so important to keep ourselves hydrated?
Well, hydration is so important because hydration helps with digesting food. It helps with absorbing nutrients. It helps with our electrolyte balance. So without those things, we wouldn't, our hearts wouldn't function normally. Our kidneys wouldn't function normally. Our food that we digest, we wouldn't be able to absorb the nutrients that we get out of that food. So there's so many important things that hydration means for us.
Yeah, and you've mentioned some of the things that can occur if you don't properly hydrate yourself. Is there an amount of water that one should make sure they have on a daily basis? You know, that old adage, drink 8 glasses of water. Is that actually true? Should it be less? Should it be more?
That's about the average. About 64 ounces a day is about the average. Now that's if you're not on a fluid restriction, and that's if you're not outside heavily sweating. So that's about the average that someone should be drinking. And that doesn't all have to come from water. Water, of course, would be the best, but it can come from other things that are considered liquid, as long as it's not caffeinated or alcoholic, things like that. So it could come from, if you think of a frozen popsicle, we could count that as that fluid requirement. It could come from clear broth, that could be counted as that fluid requirement. So those are some good tips. And another thing I want to mention is with that 64 ounces, some foods that we're going to talk about. Some are very dense with fluid. We've always heard about watermelon, right? Watermelon is full of water. There's other foods that are in there. One thing that I learned as I was looking to do this today with you, cucumber is 96% water. I didn't know that until I started looking at this. I thought that was very interesting. Tomatoes are very high in water, 94%. Oranges, 97% water. Like, oh, that's pretty interesting. So as we're thinking about how much water we need to have every day, we can include some of those foods. So we could be having a little fruit salad and have some water fluid intake throughout the day with a little fruit salad or vegetables too. Another thing I want to mention.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Robert. One thing I wanted to mention before I forget is that if we wait until we're thirsty, it's too late. We've already gone down the path of being dehydrating or getting dehydrated. So we want to make sure that we're drinking fluids throughout the day and not wait until you're thirsty. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that before I forgot that fact.
I love that. That is so important. So what I typically do is I'll drink a glass of water before I have breakfast. Kind of after I brush my teeth and get myself ready for the day. Because what happens, I mean, even in confinement, you kind of get busy with other things. You watch TV, you write a letter, you read, you visit somebody next door, something like that, all socially distanced, mind you, of course. But it's so funny because for me, a day will go by and I'll realize, oh my gosh, I have not even had one glass of water. So, what would you recommend, Gwen? Is it important to kind of space it out during the day? Is it okay to drink a glass of water before you go to sleep? What do you think?
So I think a great tip is to have water all throughout the day, because you can, and really it's whatever works for you. If you have if little sips throughout the day work for you to get your water in, then that's fantastic. If you like drinking, half a glass of water every few hours, and that works for you, it's truly whatever works for you. Some people like being very methodical about it, having one glass uh, every hour. So truly, it's whatever works for that person. Um, Everybody has a different way of doing it. One thing that we do teach in our medication classes is that we encourage those that to encourage the resident to drink a full glass of water with a medication, with the medication. So that is a way, instead of just a sip of water with that medication, drink that full glass of water with the medication. That way we're ensuring that we're getting at least that much water in.
Does it help digest the medication better? If
Absolutely.
uh,
Yep. It helps get that medication in, it helps get it all the way down, helps with the absorption of the medication as well.
yeah, yeah. You know what I used to hear uh, quite often is that it's not that great to drink water or to just drink liquid when you're having a meal. Is it okay to do that, do you think, or does that really matter?
I'm not sure if that really matters. I think it's um, important to drink fluids whenever you can get the fluids in.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So, yeah, we can pretty much make this short and sweet. The message is stay hydrated.
Stay
Two
hydrated, stay
very
hydrated.
important
Yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And dehydration can cause so many problems, like we talked about. I mean, signs of dehydration. If you're not urinating the way you normally do, if your urine is dark, if you're having headaches, if you're constipated, a dry mouth, cramps, so many different signs of dehydration. Um, it really can lead to some problems. So it's important to, especially as our weather, it's starting to get warmer. And so it's important to make sure that we're staying hydrated in that warmer weather as well.
Yeah. And I love how you mentioned, I didn't even think of that, that there's so much water in some very healthy fruits and vegetables that we can eat too. That kind of makes it even more fun. The one that really stood out to me is watermelon.
Watermelon,
Oh,
yeah.
there is nothing better than a sweet, ripe, juicy watermelon. Ooh,
Good,
now you
yeah,
got me hungry and you got me thirsty.
right. And simple things to add a little bit. If you're having a sandwich, add that tomato and lettuce, and that adds just, it's a tiny bit, but it adds a little bit, and every little bit counts.
I love that. I love that. Well, I think the message is very clear. It's important to stay hydrated. I think it not only helps with your health, but it helps with your mind and your spirit too. Water, I think, is the gift of life, and we just have to make sure that we have enough of it. And in many ways, uh, I know I can never have enough of it.
It's true, very true. And if you think about all the different ways that we can incorporate fluids, water, and just to make sure that we're staying mindful, to not get to that thirst level. Because remember, if you're thirsty, it's too late. So keep drinking fluids all throughout the day so you don't get to that thirst level.
So if you get to that thirst level and all of a sudden you realize, whoa, I'm really thirsty, is it okay and healthy to almost overcompensate and then have two glasses of water or something?
Yes, go have 2 glasses of water.
Okay, so it's not gonna, yeah,
Yeah, go drink the water, because at that point your body is craving it. Your body is really needing it at that point.
yeah,
So we're
makes
going to
sense.
have to go um, give your body some extra at that point, because it's really needing it.
Yes, yes. Well, guess what I'm going to do now? I am going to do two things. I am going to have some water and I'm going to have a big, juicy piece of watermelon. So, what do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Robert.
Well, thank you so much, Gwen. Again, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to more health and wellness tips episodes with you. And until then, everybody stay hydrated. Gwen, do you have a final message?
I think that was an excellent final message. Stay hydrated, everyone.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Gwen. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.